Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
All right, so this festival, I've been, on the days that I speak, I've been speaking quite a bit. So I thought tonight I would devote more time to questions. Questions are very important in bhakti. Number one, for clearing the path, questioning about possible impediments and obstacles. You call that 1A. And 1B, questions are important about what accelerates, what stimulates bhakti, the positive, the negative. Number two, as Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana Goswami, even though the sadhu may know the answers, still for the sake of strictness, for the sake of clarification, he asks questions. So in the case, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, of Ramananda Roy and his confidential dialogue with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya asked the questions and empowered Ramananda Roy to answer. In the case of Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya empowered Sanatana Goswami to ask the questions, and Lord Chaitanya would answer them. And those of you who study Srimad Bhagavatam know how the questioning and answering between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj stimulated both in bhakti. Shukadeva Goswami would congratulate Parikshit Maharaj for his questions. Oh, your questions have taken the bhakti to another level. And Parikshit Maharaj would always thank Shukadeva Goswami for the answers. So, this is reciprocation. As stated early in the Bhagavatam, Munya Sadhu Krishtoham Bhavadbhiya Lokamangalam. Essential questions are beneficial for the whole world. This is the difference in the standard between real human culture and something else. In a real human culture, questions about the essentials of life are considered beneficial for everyone. Whereas in Kali Yuga culture, questions about the big issues, the big questions, are considered, practically speaking, a nuisance because they're outside the purview of contemporary science, so therefore the questions must be useless. Many of you heard one true story. There was, back in the 90s, there was one young devotee. She became a devotee at 16. And she was finishing high school, or what is called college here. And she was asking her teachers at the age of 16 the big questions. And the teachers knew just how to stimulate her quest for ultimate knowledge. They knew just the right thing to say to make her feel good about herself for thinking deeply. They told her, "You're asking these kind of questions because you're a teenager. But when you become an adult, you'll understand that these questions are not necessary." And many of you may recall the motto, the mission statement of the New Zealand Ministry of Education. It's quite different from Shesha Prabhu's Ministry of Education. And the mission statement of the New Zealand Ministry of Education is that education is for economic enhancement. But in Bhakti, we celebrate the big questions. Such questioning and answering clears the path of misunderstandings. Such questioning and answering produces deeper depths of realization. Just like when you read Bhagavad Gita again and again, it's like you've never read it before. You see, as Srila Prabhupada said, newer and newer lights. Newer and newer fascinations and depths. Because the bhakti knowledge is non-material and therefore it's dynamic. Its depth and profundity becomes increasingly aware, becomes increasingly known to you as your spiritual advancement increases, as your devotional service increases. You cannot know Krishna by mundane intelligence. Krishna declares straight out in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Only by devotional service can I be understood. This is a unique concept for Westerners. Through service, I understand something? Isn't it all that's necessary, my sharp intellect? No, it won't work with Krishna. If you try to approach Krishna simply with your mundane intelligence, you'll be bewildered. We may talk about that tomorrow morning. How to material contaminate intelligence, Krishna does the strangest things. Yes, in a world of repeated birth and death, someone who supremely and flawlessly enjoys unlimitedly, that's considered strange. It has to be mythology. I mean, no one can have unlimited pleasure. So in the spirit of stimulating our appetites, I asked for some questions. So tonight you can do all the talking. Of course, Shesha Prabhu, he's very liberal. He's allowed such ample time for questions and answers. So, oh, there they go. Okay.
In the Shastra, it says by chanting japa, devotees can have ecstasy, bodily jubilation, and trembling,
Yeah.
laughing, crying. So could you please share your ecstasy when you chant your japa?
I am not chanting for ecstasy. I'm chanting wanting Krishna to be pleased Have you ever done anything for someone else's pleasure? Someone else's. It's a novel concept, huh? So, the best chanting is for Krishna's pleasure. We're making music for Krishna's pleasure. Whether our transcendental bliss becomes apparent to us or not. Think of the senses of the beloved. Now, in the beginning stages of chanting, of course, you want to feel relief from material existence. And you want to feel a buzz that will help you to give up the material buzz. So generally when you first start chanting, you're thinking like that. Okay, all the devotees have told me I should chant every day. And it's bliss. Okay. Also, devotees have told me if I don't chant, I'll be in Maya. I won't be accepted in the devotee club. I want to be part of this. Yeah, I want to go on taking prasad. I'll do anything in order to sustain that, even chant every day. Today I went around asking how the devotees appreciated, how do they rate the lunch prasad? I didn't know who was the head cook or anything, so there was no favoritism. So one gentleman from Auckland, he rated the lunch prasad as 10 out of 10. Then he raised it to 11. So I asked him, what do you do? You know, I had met him before in Auckland, but I asked him, remind me, what do you do? He said, I'm a chef. So his evaluations should be taken seriously. Yes, it's true. In the beginning, you chant Hare Krishna because everyone around you is doing it, and they look kind of blissful. Not all of them, but reminds me of, I think it was George Harrison's comments when he first started associating with devotees. Yeah, some of them look high up there. A few of them I don't know, and a few of them look really spaced out. But I think there's something going on here. So we may have so many motives for starting to chant. And they're generally selfish. But gradually, as we try to just hear the Hare Krishna mantra, we start to become purified, and we develop a desire to please Krishna. And the more we attentively try to hear and lament our inattentiveness, lament our wandering mind, the more we can be pleasing to Krishna. Wouldn't you like it if someone was always trying to hear attentively what you say? Begging forgiveness for not being able to focus on your every word. You would think this is pretty good, huh? Krishna's a person. When he sees his devotees striving to hear the Maha Mantra, he's pleased. When he sees them lamenting for their inattentiveness, yet not giving up, he's pleased. So the real platform of chanting is pure love. And you can long for those days to come. We may sing that song tonight about longing for pure chanting. Gauranga Boliteha Pulanga Shri. When will tears shoot from my eyes when I chant the name Gauranga? One point I'd like to raise, though, I heard a Sankirtan story where a devotee engaged the audience in chanting Gauranga. But not exactly correct, because Gauranga himself says chant Hare Krishna. So we follow the order of Gauranga, who says chant Hare Krishna. Remember the story about someone who became a devotee unknowingly chanting the name Gauranga? He was a young teenage video game addict. That means playing video games 10 to 12 hours a day. Seems to be a guy's thing. The girls don't do it, do they?
Yeah.
Sankirtan Yoga would know. They don't. It's all a guy's thing. So all day, all night, playing video games, just destroying his brain. 13, 14, 15, 16. And his favorite game was Grand Theft Auto. And there's always new editions of that game. But in that current edition, it had a feature he loved the most. You steal the car in the video game and you're racing away and going through all kinds of obstacles, and during your escape with the stolen car, you run over a Hare Krishna devotee. And when you run over the Hare Krishna devotee, the video game shouts out, Gauranga! It's their idea of a spoof, you know. Because in some parts of the world, like Scotland, devotees made a Gauranga campaign, putting signs saying Gauranga everywhere. So I guess the game makers heard about that and decided we'll fix those Hare Krishnas for spreading this sound. So every time you playing the video game, you ran over a Hare Krishna. I don't know, I've never played a video game, but somehow the screen would just light up and, fireworks, Gauranga! So this young boy would shout, Gauranga! And he told all his friends, this is my favorite game, especially when I run over those Haris, and I shout out, Gauranga! So, he met a Sankirtan devotee, and he got an invitation to the loft, and he came along, and it was after a workshop called Gita Mysteries, and then there was a kirtan after that, and all of a sudden during the kirtan, someone started chanting Nitai Gauranga. He was like, wow! I found Gauranga! This must be it! I found Gauranga! True story. Nevertheless, Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu says, chant Hare Krishna. The Panchatattva mantra, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura, is more powerful than the Maha Mantra. But Mahaprabhu says chant Hare Krishna. So please continue with your chanting. Even though it's not in the pure stage, still, the effect is so potent. You know how I started chanting, right? You've heard, right? 1 bead a day. Not 1 round a day, 1 bead a day. I come back from nightclubs in Manhattan, 3 in the morning. I think my last fling was salsa clubs. So. I wake up 11 o'clock, and next to me there were some beads they'd given me at the temple. So I'm laying in bed 11 a.m. Pick up the beads and chant 1 bead. Okay, that's enough. A few days like that, just 1 bead. And I don't know what happened after that. Some other I started chanting more, but I still remember the beginning was just 1 bead a day. See, if there's hope for me, there's hope for you. What do you think? Questions from this side? Yes.
Yesterday, Sheshavu was talking about forgiveness. And I was wondering, could you maybe speak a little bit about like forgiving ourselves? Like, because often we do things that we regret and the day is wallowing over it.
Forgiving yourself is kind of a new agey concept. It's part of like a new age affirmation. I am strong, I am successful, I will succeed, I forgive myself. You have regrets, but you can't really forgive yourself. A devotee regrets his or her sinful activities. That's part of bhakti. It's an essential emotion of bhakti to regret your past sinful activity. Certainly so much so that you don't repeat. But forgive yourself? You let Krishna take care of that. He says at the end of Bhagavad Gita, what? You know the verse already? Sovereign. Pretty good. Go on, go on. Just see. And when I first met Premalahari at the loft, he used to just talk about lacrosse. That's what she was into. She was a lacrosse star in New Zealand. And somewhere or other the conversation changed. And now she's reciting Bhagavad Gita verses. Reminds you of Manchester, UK. Guruvani, you're here. And Vishnu Maya remembers. We had these 2 photography students from Manchester University. They were coming to our programs. And they're pursuing their bachelor's in photography. And so I told them, I'm really interested to learn photography. How do you take pictures? What's it all about? So they really got into it. I said, come on over in the evening. Come on over every evening. Teach me photography. So they came over every evening and see, Swami, it's like this, it's like that, and this is how light works. And they're going to teach the Swami. And they're really getting into it. But I saw their bhakti potential. So I told one devotee, go buy me a camera. I need a camera. So next time they came over, I said, I've got this camera. I don't know how to work it. Oh, we'll show you. Don't worry. So they really got into it. Yeah, they became initiated devotees and one of our most upstanding devotees. Outreach is exciting. Yes.
Guru Maharaj, at the start you mentioned about questions and answers, the conversation between Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya. In that conversation, the point of Varnashram Dharma being the highest perfection of life is brought up by Ramananda Roy. And Lord Chaitanya says, I think the word for it is ehobhaya, which is...
Oh, you're learning Bengali. Very good.
Which is...
Brahmachari sadhu.
meaning it's external, to go deeper. So perhaps sometimes devotees can take this, oh, Varnashram Dharma is external, we need to go deeper than that, it's not necessary that Krishna...
We do need to go deeper, but that's the purpose of Daivi Varnashrama, the Varnashrama system that's connected to realizing Krishna, not just a social system existing on its own with no connection to spiritual advancement. The purpose is to go deeper while dealing with your externals. Varnashram Dharma is external, and conditioned souls have external bodies and minds. So it's a material system, but it's Krishna's material system for organizing the material affairs, human beings' material affairs. So therefore Lord Chaitanya said, that's external, go deeper. But that it's external doesn't mean it's unimportant. Because as you may have noticed, our devotees don't immediately become Paramahansas, right? So they need a gradual system. Brahmachari life is part of Varnashram Dharma. Grihastha life is part of it. Sannyas life is part of it. It's a system for organizing human affairs so that there can be gradual spiritual advancement.
So it seems that we have ashram kind of sorted. Where do we begin on
We're beginning to sort ashram. I'd say we're beginning. We do that by slowing everything down in terms of ashram choices. You know, overnight ashram changes. We try to instill that company culture. Go very slow in choosing your ashram. No quickie marriages, no quickie brahmacharis. So that's an attempt to implement ashrama in a sober way. You want to be a brahmachari? Think about it. Are you aware of the lifestyle? Not just about wearing saffron cloth. You want to marry? Think about it. You think you want to marry that person? Think about it. Take your time. You're dealing with a lifetime consideration. I'm sure Shesha Prabhu and Madhumati Devi Dasi have given such wonderful grihastha advice to so many devotees, sober and wise, so that you don't make rash decisions. Like, well, okay, I'm ready to get married. Where's the person? I'm ready. Okay. Why? Why you? Because I'm ready. Makes complete sense, right? I'm ready. You're in my eyesight. You're the one. Depend on Krishna, Prabhu. Let's go. Anyway, we're not the body, so. You know that story I tell about life in the Brahmacharya ashram in 1973 and famous Brooklyn Temple in New York. 125 men. So I went to sleep with my sleeping bag on the floor, found a spot on the floor amidst the dozens of bodies. And I noticed there was this brahmachari just pacing the floor, his hand in his bead bag. I said, well, I guess he didn't finish his rounds or something. I woke up the next morning, 3 o'clock, and there he was, still pacing the floor, his hand in his bead bag. So I asked him, Prabhu, what's wrong? What's going on? He said, I've got to decide before the Mangal Arti conch blows. I've got to make the decision. Should I take sannyas or should I marry? So hopefully we've come a long way since then. But still sometimes our devotees, they get rash, and we try to pour water on all that. And it's not easy. Not easy at all. Think this is a major life decision. So that is trying to implement Varnashram Dharma, and it's not a quickie overnight thing, You can talk to the mentors and the marriage mentors, how they get abused, sometimes trying to just keep things slow. I sometimes get criticized by some senior Vaishnavas. Just leave them alone, they're adults. Let them do whatever they like. I can't live in chaos, I can't live in a zoo. Just let everyone do what they like. Okay, I myself can't live like that. And the senior Vaishnavas I hang out with, like Shesha, of course they're not like that. That's why he's my friend. So many senior devotees have told me, I wish this sober, going slow system was in place when I was a young devotee. So, So this is trying to apply Varnashram Dharma. As for Varna, we're making a humble beginning by trying to create some brahmanas. Therefore we have a very there's some reason why you're afraid of the sun. It doesn't look like the sun is out, You might get some fresh air. Because often the winds change, but sometimes the breeze comes in that way, So, we have, for example, Brahmachari curriculum. They study the Shastras. The ladies, in the ladies' ashram also, they study the Shastra. As you heard, Prema Lahari reciting Bhagavad Gita sloka. So we give everyone a chance to develop Brahmana qualities. And then we see who's taking advantage of it and who's not. Our first effort is to create a head on the social body. How can you have a head on the social body without knowledge of the Shastra? It's the Shastra, the knowledge, that gives real intelligence. And it's important to lay that foundation of studying the books in the very beginning, because that regulation, that habit will carry you through no matter what ashram you choose. Yes?
In the Bhagavad Gita, purport, Srila Prabhupada says, in order to progress in Bhakti Yoga, a strong sense of love is required for Krishna. What exactly does this love mean? Is it prema, or is it, because it seems like at this stage that's very far.
The example of the mango. Whether the mango is unripe or ripe, it's still a mango. If you leave the mango in the sun, in time it'll ripen. So even the beginning neophyte efforts to try and please Krishna, although they're not pure love, they are on the way to Krishna. And if you continue with those efforts steadily, under guidance, yes, you can please Krishna, you can love Krishna. You can't deny you have a loving propensity, right? It may be hidden deep down inside, but still it's there. Whether it's frustrated or it's coming out in a materially perverted way, it's still there. Apply your senses to Krishna's service, and your senses will become purified, and you'll become free of material designations. So you're fortunate. You started at what age?
17.
17. Life could very well have been very miserable before then, but we have to look at the victory. You started at 17. I'm envious. I didn't start until 22. So you've got the jump on so many of us in developing love of Krishna. Is there anything better to do in life? But if we become so self-absorbed, someone was talking about self-absorption this morning. Was it Rasayatra? Low self-esteem, she was saying. Self-absorption. Oh, I'm so low, I'm so useless, everyone hates me. I am sure that everyone hates me. And I am sure that no one likes me, and I am sure. It's really quite selfish, you know. Such persons, sometimes they can't even open up their eyes and see that actually everyone likes me. You're so self-absorbed and staring at your own navel. And this, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, this low self-esteem, especially for ladies, comes from the wildness in the karmic days in terms of promiscuity. What is considered normal and admirable and desirable these days just destroys these young women's self-esteem. Totally. It trashes them out. So the women's self-esteem is destroyed, and the man's health and determination is destroyed. You said it before, every traditional system of medicine in the world, Ayurveda from India, Chinese medicine, which is so much based on Ayurveda, recognize that men deplete their energies through promiscuity and bring about bad health. only Western medicine doesn't recognize. Maybe some of you remember years ago, I had Dr. Leeladhar Gupta, the Ayurvedic doctor from Vrindavan. He gave a lecture. Does anyone remember? He gave a lecture about how promiscuity destroys health. It also, by the way, destroys female health, but especially the man. So this is why, when, I've said it before, when the ladies look around, where are those men like we read in the Bhagavatam, who are strong, determined, and control their mind and senses? Where are the Arjunas? Where are the Yudhistirs? Why don't you see them? Because they're all so weak due to lusty affairs. They thought they were playing the game, and in the process they're destroying their own health, and they become weak in terms of willpower and determination. So everyone loses, although everyone thinks they're being victorious. Now the ladies, for some time, have been saying, we can play the game too. We can be in charge of all that stuff. We can hook up as we like. Pick them up, drop them. Everyone's ruining their health, ruining their minds. And therefore, there's no determination. There's such weakness of spirit, weakness of determination. And the ladies see that in the men. These guys are so weak, they're so spineless. And then they read in the Bhagavatam, what it says about women. And they're going to protect us. And then they doubt the Bhagavatam without understanding that the Bhagavatam is referring to real men. So many times I've asked our ladies, now, if there was a man like what the Bhagavatam says, wouldn't you want to assist him? Oh yeah, no problem. But they're not like that. So through this activity, everyone loses. The ladies' self-esteem is destroyed. They get trashed out. I have to explain sometime to ladies that when they first come, that the best thing for a lady is to see herself be like a priceless gem. When you go to a classy jewelry shop, they have expensive gems in the glass counters. But if you want to see the real merchandise, the top items, the super expensive gems, they're kept in a safe in the back of the shop. And if the shop owner sees that you're actually qualified and you're serious about buying the top of the line, he'll say, excuse me, he'll go back, open the safe, and come out with the... So I tell the young ladies, that's what a lady should be like. Not on parade, on exposure for everyone. But the men, they play that game. If you want to be popular, you gotta play with us. So many high school, you call it college here, so many college students, they've told me, the ladies have told me, how they're pressured, how the men use other women to pressure the ladies who are trying to be good. They get the ladies to get on the case of these other ladies. What do you think you are? So this is what the guys do. It is horrible. So you feel, some of our own devotees here, lady devotees, have told me this is what they went through in high school. And peer pressure is so great. And you don't know how to handle that. And there's no moral reason why to refuse. You may have some intuition. It's a bit crazy, but it's all around. It's happening all around. You want to be accepted. You want to be popular. If not popular, at least seen as normal. And generally the parents have no idea how wild it is these days. They were, how do we say, wild in a courteous way in their time. But now it's just mayhem. With these smartphones, I've told you, the epidemic that has swept the first world with all these smartphones. Instead of texting, it's sexting. They're sending lewd photos back and forth. The guys put the pressure on the girls. Can you send me a photo? And the girls want to be popular. And why not? There's no moral reason. So, the foolish young girl sends such a photo. And the girls don't even know where these photos are going to wind up. Often, parents get a call from a neighbor or one of their adult friends, and I think you better check online. You're going to see something that's shocking. The mother goes online, and there's her daughter, her 13-year-old daughter. It was such a compromised photo. And the guys collect these photos. The more you get, the more, top dog you are. These guys are 250 photos. They're not even interested really in the girls. They want the photo. So they press the girls. Hey, come on, send me a photo, please. So they make the girls feel pressured. You want to be popular? You want to be accepted? Come on, send a photo. And the guys brag to each other. I got 200. How many do you have? At one high school in the Chicago area, the police started investigating because they said this exchange of underage photos that even make it to the internet, this is actually criminal. But it was so widespread, half the school was doing it. It was so widespread that the police didn't know what, we can't lock them all up. What are we going to do? So they decided to have, there's a school of like 3,000 students, high school students. So the police decided we're going to make a program in the auditorium in the evening. Auditorium holds thousands. We'll invite all the parents and we'll discuss how to handle this problem. You just can't arrest all the boys. You'd arrest the whole football team. Those are the popular guys, the football team, We can't do that, so let's bring it to the parents. Get the parents on board. For all the school of 3,000 students, 50% were doing this. Evening time came for the meeting with the parents. 8 parents showed up. So my point is that this is a self-destructive process. It destroys the lady's self-esteem, destroys the man's health and mental focus and concentration. It's one reason why I introduced the contemporary Vedic ashram for the men, because we just couldn't put guys like that, which holds all of them, straight into the brahmacharya ashram. They were weak, sickly, minds couldn't focus. So what to do? We have to work with reality. We have to work with the situation that's in front of us and try to make it Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada said that's management. To create situations where people can become Krishna conscious. Even if they have no desire or they have no determination, create a situation that builds desire and determination, rather than just stand back and say, oh, they're really out of it these days, oh, impossible. And that's management. To organize in such a way that a desire to serve Krishna is created where there's none. think it's the men's side. Yes?
Should have thought that secret. The marriage should be simple and doesn't have dealings. So what does it mean to have simple dealings and management without being rude?
Well, you've read in Bhagavad Gita that one of the qualities of a Brahmana is simplicity, yes? Material existence brings about complexity due to multifarious desires. If your intent is how to serve Krishna best, you always want to keep your life uncluttered in order to achieve that purpose. Just like, hope he doesn't mind me using as an example. When you go to Shesha Prabhu's house, it is nice and tidy, but it's simple. It just has pictures on the wall, you know. There's furniture there. But you can see it's an uncomplicated lifestyle. There's clarity there. It's a house of a householder. Yeah. Householder couple. So simplicity for a householder can mean one thing, and for the saffron said it can mean another. Basically, it means keep your life as uncomplicated and uncluttered as possible for the sake of focusing on Krishna. Just like I was looking at some things I have today. Bluetooth speakers. I've got too many Bluetooth speakers. People give them to me. I use them when I wake up in the morning. I have a waterproof Bluetooth speaker that I can take in the shower. So I can listen to Prabhupada lectures for a minimum half hour in the morning while brushing teeth and showering and all that. Really makes a difference. So I said, well, I got too many of these. Got to give something away. Keep it simple. And you have to take into account your age besides your ashram. It's like I'm always on the case of the brahmacharis who unnecessarily get into all these kind of health supplements when they're in perfect health. That is not simple living. You would say, come on guys, give yourself a chance. In 30 years, okay. But right now, you don't need it. Eat a healthy diet, exercise. You don't need to keep up with the latest health supplements. So every year I have to wage a jihad. All right, who's spending money on, you know, this supplement, that supplement? But Gumaraj, it's like, it's the latest. It's like, you know. They get mad before a while. Yes?
few days ago you were speaking, reminded us of Srila Prabhupada's instructions to the first devotees that came to New Zealand about buying land and starting their own ashram. I'm just wondering, can you explain a little bit, if we did manage to get some land, then how the own ashram sort of, what would it look like, what was living on that land?
First, get the land. That doesn't mean a garden patch. Farm means hundreds of acres. So in this day and age, currently, anything could happen in the future, but currently, land prices in New Zealand, because it's prime tourist and agricultural destination. It's practically like only the Chinese can afford to buy a farm. But someone may give by your preaching, your outreach, someone may give, just like someone gave this place. Where's Hyman? Is he here? Yes, he might be able to pull it off.
You can still buy cheap land. It's not that expensive. In Masterton, Pedersen, all this area.
All right, please. Anything else? Yes.
Often I find book distribution, my attempts and my experience become mechanical, and I feel like I get stuck in a rut. So what's going on there and how do I get out of it?
You remember why you're doing what you're doing. That's why we read the books. Our motto is love to read them, love to distribute them. You have to keep your intelligence sharp. Daily hearing and chanting keeps your intelligence focused. It's so refreshing to read because then you realize, you remember, oh, that's why I'm doing this. This is why we stress, read the books, distribute them. So many times, Srila Prabhupada reminded us, the books are not just for selling, they're for reading. That reading means remembrance of Krishna, thinking of Krishna. You're hearing the kirtan, the recorded kirtan. So the books are hearing and chanting about Krishna, they're also remembering. They're about remembering Krishna. And there's always kirtan to keep your spiritual senses fresh. That's why in the evening the brahmacharis come back and, yes, you sing the prayers to the 6 Goswamis, Shri Sad Goswami Astikam. That contains the mission for the saffron set. Keeps you clarified, keeps you focused. I always remember when they get to the last, the last shloka of the 8 prayers, they're reciting them out loud, the English. And then all of a sudden, when they get to the last one, they all start shouting, Queen of Vrindavan, Shivati Radharani, where are you? And the last one, these were their moods, the 6 Goswamis. Oh Lalita, oh son of Mars Nanda, where are you? Are you on the bank of the Yamuna? Are you on Govardhan Hill? Where are you? It's too bad you can't see them do that. It's thunderous. 17 men roaring that. Where are you? Are you on the bank of the Yamuna? You asked a lot of questions. Shesha Prabhu was very merciful to you.
What do you say that we can ask?
All right, well, let's try to live. She hasn't.
In the recent Enough magazine, someone wrote an article about humility. I don't know who it was, but it was cool. And they saying that humility is the space in between. And I was just thinking about these characteristics that Shesha Guru was talking about, compassion, affection, and humility and things. And it seems like, I was just wondering, how much should we focus on trying to bring out those qualities in ourselves, like making it, to be humble, because then when you're trying to be humble, you don't become humble. I don't know. And then, sorry, that didn't make sense, but, when you're like, how much of our personal effort should we put into trying to foster these qualities, and how much should we put back in the sadhana development?
Well, it is a fact that by properly hearing and chanting about Krishna, these qualities develop. But there's no harm in, trying to speed up the process.
But if you're trying to speed up, like on your own personal development, I'll be real affectionate to that.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, but also like it can come across as like not so genuine. So then when it's actually
Why? You're trying for the best thing. How is it not genuine? You try your best, but Krishna is in your heart and he's cleansing the heart. That's where the real change comes from. But you try your best. Know that the main effort in self-transformation comes by Krishna in the heart. But that doesn't mean you can try your little bit. That's an example. In Krishna Lila, Mother Yashoda trying to bind little Krishna. You read that? And the rope was always 2 inches too short. She got all the ropes in the whole village and tied them together, trying to get them around little Krishna's waist. And still always 2 inches too short. She was perspiring. The other older gopis were watching and mildly laughing. What is happening? Unless this child wants to be bound, he can't be bound. But Mother Yashoda, in her Vatsalya Prem, pure love of Krishna in parental love, she was determined. I don't care if I have to stay here all day. I'm going to bind this naughty child. That is pure love. She's not thinking Krishna is God. She thinks Krishna is my son. I have to discipline him. So she couldn't get the rope to connect every time. No matter how many ropes were attached, just 2 inches or so too short. But then, Krishna, seeing her perspiring and laboring, he decided to supersede his Aishvarya potencies, his opulences of unlimited power, with the sweetness. Let my mother lovingly care for me in this way. Impressed by her efforts. So something from Krishna's side, something from her side actually filled the gap between the ropes. Unless Krishna decided to be bound, he couldn't be bound. But impressed by his mother's pure loving effort, he said, all right, you can bind me. So it was from her side and his side. He's the ultimate controller, but he agreed, I'll come under the control of your love. You can bind me. You do your part sincerely. Krishna does his part. Be patient. From countless births, we've destroyed ourselves with so much sinful activities, so many different types of bodies. Just spend a few decades that are left in this lifetime to clean yourself up. That's being a real hero. Looking to see who hasn't asked questions before. All right, Vrindavan Madhurya.
In the association of devotees, naturally we become enlivened and we want that association more. But sometimes in our services we may apparently be not in that association. the service is what we should be focused on. So how can we make that the main priority, even though we may not have the association we're looking for?
Make what our priority?
The service rather than the association.
Often look around and you will probably see there are inspiring devotees around you. Naturally, every devotee wants to be inspired maximum. Almost every devotee. Some don't bother me, don't. The sun is shining, the sunshine of Krishna's mercy is shining. Oh, give me some sunglasses. Too much Krishna. When I'm speaking to young Indian university students and young professionals at our retreats in Melbourne, I always go over this fallacy of the notion of too much Krishna. You can just get into it, you can just chant too much, be too attracted to Krishna, and then you lose your competitiveness at the workplace. You can't swim with the sharks anymore. You lose your focus at the university. Too much Krishna. I ask, where in Bhagavad Gita do you find this shloka about too much Krishna? Simply one has to learn, as Shesha Babu was explaining, how to balance the material and spiritual affairs. So naturally, most devotees want to be around association that propels you forward. Look and see the opportunities you have for that. It's not only those who wear saffron are inspiring association. There's nothing wrong with a young man wanting to aspire in that way. But it doesn't mean the saffron set are the only inspiring devotees. That's why we bring eminent householder devotees like Shesha Prabhu, so everyone can see. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Grihe Tako Bane Tako Sadahare Boleda. Whatever ashram you're in, just chant Hare Krishna. Look and see what's around you and take advantage of that. And I guarantee you, Krishna in your heart will notice, okay, he's ready for more. But if you don't take advantage of what's around you, then look around and see what's around you. Hi, Kalyani Radha. When you take the order and instructions of the spiritual master in your heart as your life and soul, that's real initiation. That may happen before the yajna, during the yajna, after the yajna, or not at all. I gave the example of Srila Prabhupada. After his first meeting with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his initiation was, 11 or 12, 13 years later. But that first meeting, at that first meeting, he took the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur into his heart and never deviated from that. So that was the real initiation. Alright, Jiva Deva.
We hear that the material energy is classed as apara prakriti, or inferior energy, and
that as Prakriti, constitutionally it's meant to be enjoyed by Purusha, the supreme enjoyer. So as devotees we are taught that we should engage the material energy in Krishna's service. But at the same time I've heard you explain that Krishna doesn't get pleasure from matter. And this can be a little confusing because I may be looking at a sense object thinking, oh, this is for Krishna's pleasure, but then in my head also the understanding comes like, but Krishna doesn't get pleasure from matter. So it seems to be contradictory. So I'm wondering how actually does Krishna get pleasure from the material energy?
For Krishna, there's no matter. The matter is for you. There's no matter for Krishna. It's all his spiritual energy, Vishnu Shakti. His Vishnu Shakti has various departments. The spiritual department, the material department, and the living entities. But to Krishna, it's all Vishnu Shakti. Example given so many times. To the electrical engineer at the power station, it's all electrical energy. But to you, oh, air conditioners making things cold, heaters making things hot. All powered by electricity, but to the power engineer, it's all electricity. So for Krishna, he doesn't see matter. Matter means forgetfulness of Krishna. Krishna doesn't forget himself, or he doesn't forget that his energies belong to him. That's why he's achyuta, infallible. So the matter is for us. Matter means forgetfulness of Krishna. For one who is perfectly Krishna conscious, you see Krishna everywhere and in everything. Yes, Sri Shakti.
How do we maintain or keep on increasing our enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness? For example, we're here at this retreat and then we all depart, and then it's kind of with us that enthusiasm and excitement for like a week, and then
Really?
sometimes, including myself. So I forget just how wonderful it was, and naturally another year to get reminded again. Oh, it's just so wonderful. How do we keep that enthusiasm?
Come to the mid-year retreat. And Anzac Day weekend in New Zealand. That's like the last weekend that's fully in April. You'll come? Listen, you have my permission. Bug your husband to bring you. On the Monday, remember the advice that your new father-in-law gave you at your wedding reception. It was your own father, not your father. It was your own father. Yeah, his own father came from India to his wedding reception in Melbourne, and he told him, "I want to tell you one thing. But always remember this. She's always right, and you're always wrong. Remember that, and your life will be peaceful." So please come for the next one. So nice having you all here. So I'm making this appeal for my own sense gratification, you see. Alright, Buri Boja.
Every day I just had this realization when I do devotional service or do some service, I feel like I want to reward myself some way. I feel like after doing it, I want to do something for myself. It seems very selfish. So how can I use that in a way that I'm pleasing to service, devotion to Krishna?
What pleases the self is hearing and chanting about Krishna. So treat yourself to chanting and hearing. It's like when I wake up in the morning, I immediately treat myself. On goes a lecture. Now, next I'm trying to figure out how to do that as I go to sleep. How to devise a system that I'll go to sleep hearing something. Although it's a little more difficult because I wouldn't want to go to sleep then. And, the body needs rest. So I have to figure that one out. So reward yourself with hearing and chanting. Tell your wife, Madhupuri, wow, I need something for me. Let's hear some Krishna book. Krishna is the self of the self. Let's go for a japa walk. No? Never thought of it that way. Try it. It may sound pie in the sky, but try it. Just like, for me, I'm debating right now. When the festival ends, I'm going to be exhausted. But how much will rest revive me, and how much will actually just hearing and chanting about Krishna revive me? So it's like a debate going on within me. I don't think I'll be satisfied just by resting. I want to try to revive myself by hearing and chanting about Krishna. But if I fall asleep while hearing and chanting about Krishna because I'm too tired, that's not good either. So why should I think that I will be rested just by physical rest? Reminds me, one astonishing event. There's one sannyasi who was traveling with Prabhupada, and the sannyasi went to sleep, normal time. Of course, Prabhupada would sleep for 2 hours and get up in the middle of the night and translate. So the sannyasi had gone to sleep, like a good brahmachari sannyasi, gone to sleep at 9:30 or so, ready to get up at 3:30. But then all of a sudden, at around 12 o'clock, 12:30, 1 in the morning, he felt Srila Prabhupada shaking him and just saying, "Why are you sleeping?" It's like, it's like just a penetrating question. Why are you sleeping? And then the sannyasi was totally bewildered. Why am I sleeping? I'm supposed to sleep at night. But he realized that Prabhupada was asking him the most penetrating question. Spirit soul, why are you sleeping? You're not the body. Why are you sleeping? Now, this doesn't mean that Srila Prabhupada was banning devotees from sleep. But he's making a point. You are a spirit soul. You actually, in your constitutional position, don't need sleep. So when he said, why are you sleeping? He's asking like a profound philosophical question. Speaking right to the spirit soul. Why are you in that body? Why are you sleeping in that body? This sannyasi was just flabbergasted. You've dozed off to sleep for several hours, and all of a sudden you're awakened by His divine grace staring into your eyes. Why are you sleeping? All right, which side now? Lavanya Kayla, you haven't asked a question, have you? Okay. Not today. All right.
This kind of relates to the question about simple living previously. That sometimes in our outreach efforts, life can get quite complicated because we have so many different projects going on. And like I find myself having a lot of different ideas of things that we could do.
Yeah, because you're an artist.
Yeah, but I find that can sometimes be quite distracting.
Because you're becoming purified. You're seeing the need to focus for Krishna's pleasure. Congratulations.
Is that simple? Is that simple living? Just focusing, my mind's always on how to do more outreach and different ideas.
Really?
Yeah.
Spread the disease, please.
So it's hard to know whether that's simple living or I'm just making my life more complicated.
That's why there are older devotees to guide you. They can tell you, Lavanya Kayla, you're getting carried away. Just focus on what is right in front of you. Do that. Otherwise, it can become a form of sense gratification, this constant creativity. So how to follow through, how to start something and follow through for Krishna's pleasure. That's a necessary art to learn. Just like when you first came, you had this idea. I can only do videos. All right? That's all I can do. So, what was the response? Yes. We made lots of videos, didn't we? Like, come on, let's make a video. Whoa, this is cool. Then after how many years?
Maybe a year.
A year or so, she started thinking, maybe I should be doing other services. Maybe there are other things I'm good at. You became a bit purified and started thinking, how can Krishna actually best be served? Are you making spiritual advancement? You're thinking, what is best for Krishna's pleasure? That's the difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. I've explained so many times. Karma yoga means you're attached to acting in a certain way, but you offer the results to Krishna. Bhakti yoga means whatever Krishna wants, however Krishna wants it. We're gradually making progress toward it. So you can still make a few videos from time to time, don't worry. But you've discovered, I've got other abilities. Organizational abilities, outreach abilities. Great. And in the association of experienced devotees, your skills can be maximally utilized. Chandidas, you want to make the last question?
Okay. A couple of days ago, Shisha Prabhu was talking about the importance of the loving exchange of revealing the mind and confidence. And I've noticed that devotees from right at the beginning devotees right up to seemingly very advanced devotees struggle to find someone who they can trust to reveal the mind in confidence. Either they've had experience in the past of revealing the mind and getting chastised or getting an unsatisfactory response from that, or they fear what the other devotee will think of them by revealing the mind, revealing something they're struggling with. So seems that a lot of devotees have the problem of not being able to reveal the mind, even though it would really help them. So what's the art of finding the right person to reveal the mind to and getting over one's own inhibitions in doing that?
Well, this is why we gently try to establish a mentor system. Gently, we don't ram it down everyone's throat, but we try to provide devotees who someone can choose for guidance. And guidance means to reveal the mind. There has to be confidence. Not that one goes and tells everything. Unless the other person gives you permission, you can repeat this to so-and-so or so-and-so. Confidentiality has to be maintained. If the person revealing the mind doesn't want you to consult anyone else, then so be it. So we've tried to gently establish a mentor culture. I'd say we're 50% successful. Devotees slack off from time to time with it. The mentors slack off, the people being mentored slack off. And there's this thing about, I don't want a mentor, I just want friends. We've tried to instill the reality that there's no need to reinvent the wheel in bhakti. Basically, everything is a repeat drama that's been seen before. So yes, there has to be confidence that someone will maintain your confidentiality if you so request it. And then there has to be a willingness to develop relationships. This is something we always stress in the brahmachari ashram. I say, men, you're all you've got. You've got to learn how to relate to each other, because if you're going to go on being a brahmachari, you're all you've got. That brahmachari who's totally different from you, can't figure him out. That's your association. So yes, in the brahmachari ashram, developing loving exchanges is very important. Crucially important. And it takes work. I can tell everyone, the brahmacharis, they really have to work on it. The ones who understand it, ashram, know that these are our comrades, these are our associates. Our loving exchanges have to be with them. Otherwise. So we've tried to establish a mentor culture. Every once in a while I resurrect it because I don't want to ram it down everyone's throat. Sometimes it takes a while for realizations to sink in. Yeah, actually, guidance is good. Yeah, I miss it. Haven't had it for 4 years. Yeah. Maybe such and such mentor does know what he or she's talking about. Yeah, maybe. Maybe others have been through what I'm going through. Yeah, wow. So I come in like the tide and recede like the tide. I come in again like the tide. So what are you saying? I should have another go now?
Yeah, might help.
Oh, okay. I'll quote you. Chandidasa said, it's time for another tide to come rolling in. And our mentors, they're getting wiser as the years go by. Due to more experience. You have to start somewhere. We try to start a culture of guidance somewhere. It wasn't perfect in the beginning because everyone's just starting. But if you don't start, that's a great lack. But now I can see our mentors are getting much more experienced. Creating a guidance culture means creating real wealth. So you can't force it. Some devotees want to take advantage of marriage mentors. Some don't want to borrow it. We know what we're doing. We're in love. Everyone can see that. For the brahmacharis, I kind of enforced the mentor system more. But for everyone else, gently, I plead with them. It would be really nice if you had a mentor, you know. So maybe we should begin again, another tide coming in. The young devotees, the new devotees, like mentors. It's just when you reach the middle age of spiritual life. The more guidance, the better. The householders here are becoming more and more experienced. Of course, nothing compares to the experience that a Shesha Prabhu and Madhumaji Mataji bring. But still, you have householders who, 15 years, 20 years. They've been at it. And brahmacharis, 20 years, 15 years. Senior ladies who've been around for a long time. So that wealth of experience you can tap into. Those who are smart, they'll take advantage. I go out of my way to thank whoever gave me mentoring back in the 70s, even though it was so long ago. You might say that was, 45 years ago. Haven't things moved on? But gratitude is always essential. These are the ways you can tap into the wealth of bhakti. All right, a little overtime. Kirtan, please. Who's going to start off?